Thank you very much. 3 minutes is good. Member for Homa Bay Town.
I thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we are in very important business, and Honorable Member wanted to request that we remember where we are coming from. The truth is, Mr. Speaker, after the last elections, some of us, Mr. Speaker, even proposed the split of Kenya into 2 states or nations. And I remember I was one of such people. I want to thank His Excellency, the President and Prime Minister Raila Odinga for the handshake and where we are today. Mr. Speaker, the good things about this bill have been spoken to by virtually all members, and all Kenyans can easily read them. So because of scarcity of time, Mr. Speaker, allow me only to address those issues over which I see some small misunderstandings. And Mr. Speaker, these are the proposed clause 42, clause 43, clause 44, clause 61, clause 66, and clause 67 dealing with the National Police Service Commission. Mr. Speaker, I'm one member of Justice and Legal Affairs Committee who thought, and initially on the face of it, agreed that there could be a problem with these clauses. But Mr. Speaker, I've had occasion to look at them. Mr. Speaker, if I were to address clause 42 and clause 44, this is the vexed matter of the Judiciary Ombudsman and the power, Mr. Speaker, being given to the Judicial Service Commission, Mr. Speaker, to suspend. Mr. Speaker, if the consultations could go down a bit. Some of us never focus when consultations are too loud. Mr. Speaker, I'm an advocate. I still go to our courts. And Mr. Speaker, I'm one member of Parliament who believes I'll retire in the judiciary. So I will not support anything that undermines the independence of the judiciary any day. In fact, Mr. Speaker, let me confirm that I'm possibly the only member of Parliament sitting here today who has written a textbook on judicial independence. Mr. Speaker, clause 42 says the Judiciary Ombudsman will be a member of the Judicial Service Commission in ex officio capacity. How does that undermine the independence of that Judicial Service Commission? The Judicial Ombudsman is to investigate, to receive complaints, and to prosecute those complaints before the Judicial Service Commission. How will he perform that function we are giving him, Mr. Speaker, if we don't make him an ex officio member of the Commission? Mr. Speaker, it has been said the Judicial Service, the Judiciary Ombudsman will not vote. And Mr. Speaker, that is what we'll put in the legislation if you put at clause 44. Mr. Speaker, at clause 44, and I want to be heard on this, my own spouse is in the judiciary. I will be joining that judiciary. In clause 44, we are saying the Judiciary Ombudsman will be nominated by the President, and upon vetting or approval by the Senate, he'll appoint him. What is the problem with that? At the last clause of clause 44, it is being said that Parliament will enact legislation to give better effect to the provision establishing the Judiciary Ombudsman. What does that provision avail us, members? It means Parliament will now, under that legislation, make prescriptions, Mr. Speaker, in terms of how the President will reach the number of people to nominate from. So it will be in order in that legislation, Mr. Speaker, for Parliament to say the Judicial Service Commission, or whichever body, will invite applications, will shortlist, will interview, and will present the President a prescribed number from whom he can nominate. How can that be unconstitutional? It is not. And let me tell you, members, the problem we have in Kenya is a trust deficit. Go to the United States, Mr. Speaker, and you can Google it. Go to the United Kingdom, the Scandinavian countries, all developed democracies. Is it not true that if you go to the United States, all judges, Mr. Speaker, are appointed by the President, having been initially nominated by him and then approved by the Senate? There is nothing like that. We still have Article 160 on the independence of the judiciary. Mr. Speaker, some lie has been told on the proposed clause 44, and members, let me beg to address you on this. It is being said that it is now being suggested in clause 43 that on the lodging of a complaint against a judge, Mr. Speaker, a judge can be suspended by Judicial Service Commission? Doesn't the law say, and have we not said as lawyers, that the Constitution cannot be read in bits and pieces? Are we amending Article 47, Mr. Speaker, which says that if there is a decision that can be advanced to you, you will be heard expeditiously, there will be reasonableness, there will be procedural fairness, there will be fair administrative action, and if it is adverse, you will be given written reasons. What am I saying in a nutshell? If there will be a problem in the disciplinary procedure of a judge, then that judge has recourse to the court under Article 47. Remember, honorable members, we are also not proposing amendments to Article 160 of the Constitution and 168 of the Constitution. 160 is on judicial independence. And you cannot remove a judge, if you look at sub-article 5 of 160, for anything he has done in good faith in the discharge of his functions. Mr. Speaker, under 168, the procedure for removal is there. I'm saying that these are falsehoods we are purveying for no reason. Mr. Speaker, I don't know whether my minute skipped, but I wanted to speak on Parliament, on SRC and National Police Service Commission. Mr. Speaker, I'm also National Police Service Commission, because I'm in charge of legislation I would request I conclude it. Mr. Speaker, when we moved with Honorable Koinange across the country, the police are saying they have a problem with promotions because they are being promoted by people who do not know their performance on the ground. And the police are asking that they want the OCSS and their commanders down there, people who know how they are serving the country, to be the ones to promote them. How do we have that power in Nairobi with people who are not in the service called a commission? Mr. Speaker, the police have hardship areas and soft areas.
I give you an extra 3 minutes.
Mr. Speaker, the Constitution at Article 165 says the Inspector General exercises independent command over the service. How does he exercise that command if when he says, Kaluma, we need your services in Mandera, when Kaluma is working in Mlolongo, Kaluma petitions the police commission, and that service cannot be given to Kenya, and then the matter stays for eternity. Mr. Speaker, this power on exercising disciplinary control on suspensions, and members listen to me, we went to some counties where some county commanders literally cried because they have made a decision to remove a member of the police service, a corporal or a constable. All they can do is to forward the file to the National Police Service Commission. We had a county where, Mr. Speaker, upon sending that file 6 months later, the police officer already recommended for removal by the boss is still with him there, accessing firearm, accessing ammunition, and the commander are saying, my life is in danger. That is why we are saying they will not discipline, but to the extent of suspension before the National Police Service Commission removes, allow them to have them away. And you've been reading the media and seeing cases where the police constables and corporals facing disciplinary action are shooting their bosses. That is the situation. So we are saying the commission will continue to remove, but they can suspend immediately they make an adverse decision for their safety. And it is something the police have requested. Mr. Speaker, let me talk something on SRC. Which member of parliament has talked about remuneration and benefits of members of parliament in the history of this parliament, Mr. Speaker, than Honorable Olo Aringo? When we sent Olo Aringo to SRC, did you hear him again? He presided over the reduction of the status of this parliament. We were last in this parliament, in the last parliament, and Honorable Dalmas Otieno used to sit where Honorable Tongi is seated there. There was no more articulate member about our pay and benefits than Dalmas Otieno. When we put Dalmas Otieno to SRC, didn't he sit and laugh as the youngest MP was being donated to a car by His Excellency the President? What have they done about it? We had to go to court through the intervention of this body. What happened to Amina Abdallah here? What I'm saying is that you may be thinking it is good if this body is nominated, because it is good for optics. But in substance, the independence of these bodies is not about these bodies nominating. It has not helped anybody. So we can talk the politics of BBI, but we are saying today the Rubicon has been crossed. We want to finish this business and we want to meet people on the ground, Mr. Speaker, there is no single provision which is unconstitutional here. On vetting, we cannot vet our own. And Mr.
Member for Nakuru Town East. Member for Nakuru Town East.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving